Library. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We are practicing an affirmation today, thanks to Stephanie, of spreading love. I think it was something along the lines of if we pass on love to other people, it will come back to us, or something like that. So we're like all in the heart chakra today. And I've noticed Rosie is already standing up, so I'm going to follow her lead. Let's get up. Even though that's going to hurt for Christina, I'm sorry. It's going to get the low back going. And once you're standing up, just noticing where your feet are, maybe turning toes in slightly, heels out slightly. We've got a dog in the yoga room. And bring your hands maybe in the yoni mudra on your belly. Your thumbs and your forefingers are touching and holding your uterus. And I'm swaying side to side because that just feels good. But I encourage you to just feel that pulse in your body right now, that natural kind of rhythm that is inside you, and begin to kind of flow with that. So that might mean, for some of us, that's like some big dancey moves. For others, it's feeling still, maybe doing some hip circles and tuning into where baby is in your body right now. If you are doing hip circles, make sure to go in both directions. And begin to breathe a little deeper through your nose, if you can. I know we're all getting over colds. And if not through your nose, just pretending that you are. Just fake it. So that you can feel everything about your breath right now. Where is your breath going? Where do you feel your breath in your body? I was listening to a podcast with Eckhart Tolle yesterday where he talks about if you're concentrating on your breath, then everything about the past and the future disappears. It dissolves. All you have is the present. The breath is our most important tool for being mindful and staying here in our body, in the now, and truly experiencing the beauty of now. It's your breath. That's our gateway drug. Let's heel toe the feet out a little bit wider, please. Just a bit wider than the hips, not too wide. Toes out slightly, and we can bend the knees slightly. Reach hands out and up to the ceiling. Palms touch above your head and back down to your heart. Straighten your knees. Bend your knees. Inhale out and up. And straighten your legs as your palms touch. Hands back to your heart. Bend your knees gently, reaching out and up. And hands back to your heart. Heel toe your feet back together under your hips, please. Dive your hands out in front of you. And inhale your hands open in line with your shoulders. And imagine your heart expanding. Exhale, hands come back together in front of your heart. Radiating your light as you inhale out to the sides. Exhaling, hands back together again. One more time. And hands come back together, and then bring them to your heart. Look down at your hands, at the tops of your fingers, concentrating on your breath. Feel for your heart light, the glow around where your thumbs are pressing on your sternum. Can you feel that lighting up with your breath? And please set an intention for yourself and for your baby right now. Maybe it's as simple as you are loved. Once you've set that intention, you can bend your knees and reach your hands out and up. Straighten your legs again. Palms come together and reach up towards the ceiling. And you can tick-tock gently a little here, side to side. And then planting both of your heels into the ground, really feeling rooted here. Send your left wrist up towards the ceiling and root through both of your heels at the same time so that you're not bending over. You're creating length in your body as opposed to a side bend. And release the left wrist and right wrist reaches up. Anchor through your heels, drop your tailbone down. Let it be heavy and neutral. Relax your jaw. And relax that right wrist, bringing the right shoulder down. Unclasp the hands and float your arms down to your side slowly. Beautiful. Heel toe your feet out nice and wide. Let's do picking up the baby. Bending those knees so toes are out at that 45-degree angle and knees go directly over the middle toes. You don't have to go too deep, just however feels good in your body, and then reaching down, pull up through your center, through your midline. Reach up for the ceiling, for the sky. Hands out to the side, palms down as you squat down. And then reach up. Making this a beautiful moving meditation. Practicing your mindfulness. And we're doing 10 of these, and Christina, you've got 20 more to do today. And it really isn't hard to get there. One of those things that I've noticed in so many of us, and in my own body too, keep going with your picking up the baby. So many times a day, we get down on the ground, and notice how I'm getting down on the ground kind of like this, or we kind of do it like this, right? We've got this asymmetry in our hips. So thinking about how many times a day can you come down with that symmetry instead of compensating because one leg's stronger than the other. There are lots of opportunities to squat. And after your next round, please stay in the squat. Hands come to your thighs, and I'll show you from this side. We're going to kind of lean forward slightly and drop one shoulder and then drop the other shoulder. Allowing your hips to kind of spread and move back and to the side, not trying to kind of keep anything static here. Allow your pelvis to move. Feel for your tailbone lifting as you move. Your sits bones spreading. Your spine is lengthening. And once you're even on both sides, back to center and rounding the spine, drop the chin to your chest. And then lifting the chin and lifting the tailbone, spreading the collarbones and your chest. Keep holding onto your thighs. Yeah, and then round the spine. Doing some standing cat-cows. Lift that tailbone, really accentuating. The whole movement really happens here in your lumbar and your low back. Everything starts and ends with the tailbone. Come back to neutral, please. Press into your thighs just to pull yourself upright. Straighten your legs. Heel toe those feet together, please. And let's make our way to the floor. If you'd like to, you can come through a malasana squat to come to the floor, or just take your time coming down. And once you're on the floor, we're going to do a prayer pose. And this is similar to that spinning babies pose I was alluding to earlier. I want your butt to be over your knees, and your knees are hip width distance, and you can walk your hands out in front of you, keeping elbows lifted. So this is not a child's pose. Lift your tailbone, spread your sits bones, And see if you can walk your hands out a little further so that you've got this really long spine. Nice. And keeping those hips above the knees. So you might even bring your hips forward slightly, Christina, just to feel, and you'll feel a lot more weight in your uterus when you do that. And you too, Stephanie, you might be able to bring your hips forward slightly, because they're kind of behind your knees at the moment. No doubt you can feel that length in your uterus, length in your side body. If your arms are beginning to hurt, you can come down onto your forearms and continue the pose. Breathing into your pelvis, into that round ligament that's supporting your beautiful belly. And using your breath to try and relax and ground as much as possible. Consider where you might be holding tension in your belly or in your back, in your hips right now. Scanning your body for those areas where you might be sucking in your belly without realizing it, kind of trying to hold it together. And can you allow for gravity to just let your belly be soft right now? Maybe there's just one more layer of release, or for one layer of your fascia in under your skin somewhere, that kind of waiting for permission to relax. If this feels really good and you want to stay here for 10 more breaths, then please do. Or you can wag your tail slightly. So you can sway side to side and see how that feels in your body. Just very subtle, very gentle movements, wagging your little tail. Noticing if one hip is compensating more than the other. And can you kind of lean into that hip that maybe feels a bit tighter? Breathe into that hip. Maybe stay on that side for a couple of breaths and do a little pelvic rocking, lifting and dropping your tailbone, like you're massaging yourself from the inside out. This is really good gas release pose as well, ladies, FYI. If any gas has been trapped, then this is where it comes out. So it's wonderful. I believe there is, like, I think Iyengar, one of the very famous original yogis, talks about one of these poses as being gas release pose. Yeah, it's very official. Couple more breaths here, please. And if you're not on your forearms, come on down to your forearms and let's rock back and forward on the forearms slightly a few times. So we're just, the hips move back towards the heels a little, and then you're on the forearms rocking forward and back. You don't have to go far. It's really just the movement that we're going for here. And I think we've earned ourselves a child's pose. So come to your hands and knees, please. Spread your knees out nice and wide and sit on back in your child's pose. Let your head rest on the floor. And if your shoulders are feeling really tired right now, let your hands and arms and your elbows all rest on the floor, or even lay your arms by your sides. That feels really good for some of us. And from your child's pose, can you come up to your hands and knees and walk your hands back towards you, towards your pelvis, staying completely symmetrical. And we're going to sit on our heels for a moment. If that feels like it's too much, a block or a pillow goes between the legs. But we want to sit here for 3 breaths, completely symmetrical, allowing your uterus to relax back into being upright after doing our inversion. You can close your eyes here and tune into your beautiful uterus that is hosting your little human. And let's come up to our hands and knees again, please. From hands and knees, we're going to do windmill pose. So windmill pose here, we have knees under hips, hands under shoulders. And we're going to lift up the right hand and we're going to, we're going to sweep it behind the left hand over to the left. So our left and right hands are right next to each other. And then with the right hand on the floor, lift the left hand up towards the ceiling and look over to the left. And then sweeping the left hand behind the right, all the way over to the right side of your mat, and then right hand up. Allowing your hips to rotate from side to side as you do this movement. So we're not trying to hold the hips steady. We're allowing the whole body, the sacrum is tipping to the left and then dropping to the right as we step our hands from side to side. See if you can synchronize your movement with your breath. You got it, Rosie? No? So sweeping. So left hand behind right, and then left hand stays on the ground. Lift right hand. No, we're going up. Yeah, there you go. And then right hand behind left. Place the hand on the ground, and then left hand up. Yes. You got it. And let me know when you're done by taking a down dog or a child's pose. I'll let you guys tell me. I've had teachers make me do this for the whole class, FYI. Christina's the last man standing. She loves it. And after your resting pose, your down dog or your child's pose, let's make our way to our feet, please. Maybe coming through that squat. So get both of your feet out in a symmetrical position, then press into your thighs and come on up in your squat. Yeah, and I love like that movie. I've forgotten what it is. I feel like it's one of those like really sassy like chick flicks where they tell you have to like poke your bum out when you have to like bend over to pick up a pencil or something. I have no idea what movie that's from, but there's like, and I just think of that all the time whenever I'm coming up. Can you think of like, get your booty out and get your booty up and come on up so that it's extra sexy and sassy. Okay, so let's heel toe the feet out nice and wide, one leg length again, please. Turn the left foot out so it's pointing straight ahead, and then the back foot turns in slightly at a 45-degree angle, setting up for warrior one. So then we're going to turn the hips so that warrior one allows for the hips to face in the same direction as that left foot. And that might mean rearranging the back foot a little bit. And in your case, Christina, I would lengthen your legs a little. And use your sticky mat if you feel slippery. Definitely like face me or, Yeah, use the sticky mat. And once you're set up there, let's bend into that left knee, into the front leg, dropping both of the hips in symmetry forward. Notice if one hip goes forward faster than the other. And if the left hip is leading, then you need to come out of the lunge slightly so that both hips are on the same plane. And once they're there, let's lift the hands out and up. And feel big, feel bright, twinkle your fingers, anchor into your back foot so that your left leg isn't doing all the work. And then straighten the left leg, cactus your arms down and squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. And then bend into the knee, reach the hands out and up together. And then straighten the leg, cactus arms down, squeeze the shoulder blades. And then bending the knee, reaching out and up. Synchronize your breath with your movement. What feels better for you? Inhaling as you reach. Exhaling as you contract the arms. Or the other way around. I'd love for you, Rosie, to think about bringing the arms down and squeezing your side body more than trying to pull the ribs forward. So squeeze down towards your ribs. Yeah. And reach up. On your next round, let's keep that left leg straight. Turn and pivot your feet forward. Heel toe the feet together, a little bit wider than your hips, and let's just do a little squat. Just a little mini squat. Send your butt back, send your chest forward. Yeah. Maybe wag your tail a little bit. Do a little bit of pelvic rocks, like up and down, up and down. And then press into your thighs as you straighten the legs and come back up again. Nice. Heel toe those feet out wide, please. And the right foot is pointing straight out ahead of you. And then the left foot turns in at the 45. And then you're going to pivot the hips so that both of your hips are facing in the same direction as your right foot. Check in with where your hips are at. Get them nice and square and adjust your feet as much as necessary. You might need to heel toe the right foot out to the right slightly sometimes. Widen the stance. And then as you bend into that right knee, staying really conscious of both of your hips, staying in alignment and only going as deep into that lunge as your hips will allow. And don't fall over, Christina. That's not allowed. Squeeze those legs together. Think of squeezing a block here and feeling nice and tall in the spine, dropping the tailbone down, pulling your collarbones up and out, and then reach the hands out and up in front of you, palms facing together. Take a couple of breaths here, feeling strong in your warrior. Twinkle your fingers, taking up space, radiating your beautiful heart energy. And on your next breath out, you can straighten that front leg and cactus the arms down, squeezing shoulder blades behind you. And then bending the knee, inhale and reach. Staying aware of how your hips are moving. And I know many yoga poses that you've probably seen over the years, you see this kind of big back bend with the chin lifted. And I'd love you to, what I've learned over the years is there's so much more integrity for your spine if you're keeping the chin tucked, even as you reach up. And just keeping the head neutral rather than overarching the neck, which can kind of create tension in the neck, but also in the spine. And after you straighten your leg the next time, let's pivot that right foot so that we can have both feet facing in the same direction. Heel toe the feet together, keeping them a little wider than your hips so that we can do another little squat. Just sending the butt back, chest forward, and do a little bit of, what do they call that? Twerking or something? Do some twerking. Do a little gentle twerk. I'm pretty sure that's good for labor. It's like a twerking through labor. There should be a twerking for labor class. There probably is. Okay, now with attention to detail, straightening the legs slightly as you press your hands in, using upper body strength to come on up, not using your abdominals to come on up. And let's find a wall for our right angle wall stretch so that we can practice that. So you can either use the wall or a side table or a door or something. And once you're there, hands directly out in front of you and in line with your shoulders. And we walk our feet back as we walk our hands down, creating a right angle with your body. Turn toes in slightly. Heels are out. Maybe you want to bend your knees a little and send your hips back. Feel for the tailbone lifting and drawing backwards. And press your palms into the wall. Inhaling to push palms into the wall. Exhaling to extend the tailbone back. Think of your sits bones spreading. That might require the femur turning in a little more, maybe a little bit more pigeon-toed. And whenever your partner or your friends are willing, get them to come in here and give those hips a lovely squeeze. Your head is in line with your ears. And on your next breath in, you can start walking your hands up the wall. Feet walk back in towards the wall. And take a moment there to adjust to being upright. Feeling rooted in your heels. Noticing where baby is in your body right now. Where do you feel that beautiful head? Right up against the sacrum, Christina. Right there. Maybe not, maybe yes. We'll see. And while we're at the wall, let's do a pyramid pose here. So I'll come forward actually and do it against a chair so that you can definitely see what I'm doing, but we'll use the wall for this or a side table. Standing up nice and tall, let's keep the right foot about, a few inches from the wall and then heel toe the left foot back, about 1.5 feet or so back. And the left toes are at the 45-degree angle. So Rosie, turn your left toes in slightly. The toes facing forward. Yeah, toes are facing forward. And then check in with the hips. Both of your hips are square with the wall. And before you hang on to anything, and Steph, this is like a little trick I learned in my low back training. I want you to kind of take hold of your hips and think of engaging your glutes. And that to engage your glutes requires kind of imagining that you're squeezing a block between your legs, like you're trying to draw your feet in towards each other, but they're stuck to the ground, so they can't. And really kind of lifting through your collarbone, feeling nice and tall in the spine. Draw your ribs in. You probably are kind of leaning forward slightly a little bit. So lean back slightly, leaning into that back leg a little. And feeling nice and tall and strong and engaged in the glutes. Begin to pivot forward slightly, just a little, just a couple of inches. Take another breath. And then taking hold of the wall or your chair, your table out in front of you, and you can come forward a little bit more. Maybe bringing your forearms to the wall or to the chair. keeping those glutes engaged. You might need to bend the right knee slightly if your hamstrings are pulling. And think of spreading and lifting the sits bones without arching the spine. Keep the keep the ribs tucked in. And breathe. Relax your jaw. And be a little curious about where your hips are, kind of practicing your proprioception here, and maybe just kind of experimenting with dropping that left hip a little and then lifting that left hip a little to kind of feel for where neutral, where that flat sacrum really is. Now to come out, I want you to think of bracing those legs, bending the front knee slightly. Press your hands into the wall of the chair and push yourself up using your upper body strength and your legs. And once you're upright, hands to your hips, feet parallel. Bring your feet together. Do some hip circles. Feel for your rhythm. If you want to twerk, go for it. Let's do the other side. Left foot is up against the wall, a couple of inches out. Right foot is back, a foot or so back, with those toes pointing out at the 45-degree. But yep, bring them in slightly. And think of putting weight on the outside edge of that right foot, Rosie, as well. And maybe heel toe that left foot to the left slightly. And maybe it's just the angle, but it looks like your feet are a little close together. Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. You want kind of a wide-ish stance. And once you're upright, holding on to, hugging those hips, and imagine those glutes, or feel for the glutes switching on, squeezing them together, imagining the legs squeezing a block, lifting the spine, spreading your collarbones, maybe drawing your shoulder blades together a little bit, or maybe actually no, don't draw your shoulder blades together a bit. Imagine them spreading apart. I want everything feeling nice and broad and wide and strong and braced. And when you're feeling nice and strong and braced, begin to tip forward about an inch or two and then stop. Reground and root through the feet. And on your next breath in, begin to tip forward slightly more and take hold of the wall or the chair. Forearms are there for you to lean on. If you would prefer, bending the front knee slightly if the hamstring is pulling. You know, I am such a devotee of pyramid pose, of this pose for healing and helping with low back angst. And I had that fun experience this week of my piriformis muscle in the butt activating and getting really mad because I was playing a game with my girls and I had like that stabbing pain in the glute. And I was like, oh no, I've got to do some pyramid pose. And I did my pyramid pose and you know what? Didn't feel better. I was like, oh no, I'm just like such a devotee of this pose and it doesn't even work. Keep feeling around with your hips, Rosie, maybe dropping that, see if you can drop that right hip a little bit more. So that means drawing the left hip up and back slightly. Yeah. And so I was feeling kind of bummed about that, but I was like, no, Blair, just keep doing the yoga. And so I did my right angle wall stretch afterwards, and I got down on the floor, did some cat-cows, rocked back and forward a few times, did a rocking cobra, stayed with my breath. And once I got back up again, I was like, oh, it's gone. Great. So it's just a reminder for me as a teacher and a reminder for all of us that it's never just one pose. It's the combination of poses that we do and the intention and sticking with it that leads to resolving whatever's going on in our body. I think we can work our way out of this mindfully, activating your feet, rooting through your heels, pressing into the wall, lifting your straight, long spine. And once you're upright, feet parallel, and then bring them together and do some hip circles. Nice one. Let's come on down to the floor, please. Come through your Malasana squat if you can. Nice. Look at that symmetry, Christina. It's amazing. Perfect. And once you're on your hands and knees, let's do some rocking cobra. Hands out in front of your shoulders, just kind of walking them out a little bit in front of your shoulders, knees out wide, toes touch. Rock hips back towards the heels, straight arms, and then inhale, rock forward, hips forward, drop the hips. Exhale back. If you really want to geek out on this pose, just close your eyes and tune into your hips and notice if there is a dominant hip. There probably is. And can you encourage that non-dominant hip to be doing its share of the work? Or is there one hip that feels tighter than the other? And are you resisting that tightness by kind of leaning to one side to avoid stretching it? We do that. We just do this subconsciously because we're all about self-preservation. And mama's choice, you can choose to do a down dog next if you'd like to get your butt in the air, or take a child's pose. We'll do that for 3 breaths. As you do, can you visualize that light in your heart and the light in your baby's heart radiating out into the world? When you finish that 3rd breath, coming to your hands and knees, and we'll set up for flapping fish pose. Side lying with lots of support. So grab your cushions, make yourself nice and comfortable. And stack those cushions up nice and high, and you'll put them out in front of your shins, and then lie down on your side. Straight bottom leg and top leg is bent at 90 degrees. And then rocking hips forward so that your top hip is in front of your bottom hip. Once you're there, let your head rest on something, your arm or the floor or a cushion. Close your eyes and let your body heal itself. We can run a scan of your body, starting with your toes. And I'll call out these different body parts and encourage you to send some light to them and invite them to relax. Starting with those toes, maybe give them a little wiggle or a little scrunch, and then release them. Your right ankle. Your left ankle. Your left calf muscle. Your left knee. Your right calf muscle. Your right knee. Your shins. Your quad muscles in the front of your legs. Your hamstrings and glutes in the back of your legs. Your hips. Your abdomen. Your anal sphincter. You're allowed to giggle. Your sacrum. Your ribs, your front ribs. The back of your ribs. Your left armpit. Your right armpit. The fingers on your left hand. Your left wrist. Your left forearm. Your left elbow. Your left shoulder and the upper half of your arm. Your right fingers. Your right wrist. Your right forearm. Your right shoulder and upper arm. The back of your neck. Your throat. Your jaw. Your cheeks. Your earlobes. The back of your head. Your eyebrows. And the crown of your head. Your whole body is full of light and is relaxed. Your whole body. your whole body. And stay where you are. If you're super chill, or you can gently rouse yourself out of your shavasana. And I'll be disappearing for postnatal yoga now. Have a wonderful day, beauties. Shine your love and you will receive it in spades. Namaste.